Hey, what's up there, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since I made a video like this, but I had a pretty amazing shoot not too long ago, and I'm gonna do some behind the scenes with it, almost like a little slideshow. We'll cut the photos and add some music, but I wanna talk a little bit about how we accomplished this session. So I found a background that I really liked driving home one day with this movie theater we have just down the road and bright neon lights in the background, and I thought, hey, you know, it'd be pretty cool just to go set up in the parking lot, use it as the backdrop, kind of add some bokeh to it, blur it out a little bit, and do some shots of a model in the front. So one day I took my daughter out there, she's about to turn 4, and we just did some test shots. I took one light out, and it looked pretty good, so we wanted to go through with it. So I got on Facebook, a couple of modeling groups, found somebody to come out, and she sent me a message and was like, hey, do you mind if I bring my motorcycle? She said she had a black Ninja, and I was like, man, hell yeah, like you don't even gotta ask that. Bring that out and we're gonna make it happen. So my goal was to use a big main light. I used a Bowens mount rectangular softbox. It's probably like 24 inches or 3 feet on one side. I don't know the exact measurements of it. The colors of the neon lights of the movie theater were kind of bluish and kind of pinkish. So I had the idea for backlights on the subject. I was gonna use my mag gels here, and I pulled out the magenta and I pulled out the blue, and we set that up. Now the interesting part is I got the idea to use a reflector, which I've used with speedlights quite a bit for the background. But during a couple of shoots recently, I threw Magmod on there because I already had it on to add my gels inside the reflector. But I grabbed the mag sphere and was like, hey, you know, what the hell? Let me throw it on there and see what results we get. Now, without going too far in depth on how the mag sphere worked inside the reflector, I'll just let you know it worked for our shoot and the shoot before that. And I have another video coming out specifically to show the differences of the reflector, speedlight without any modifier, Magmod with the speedlight, and then combining the reflector with Magmod. So go ahead and check that out. So we had our model roll up on her Ninja. Had a few cameras set up for behind the scenes. You're gonna be able to see a lot of that footage. And for my main camera that I used, I had the Sony a7 III. This is my go-to camera and has been for over 2 years now. And for this price point, in my opinion, you still can't beat this camera with you know, any name brand regardless today. So the lens I used in probably, you know, 75–80% of our shots was the Tamron 70–180. I shot it at 2.8. I backed up really far away from my subject, zoomed in on her to keep her framed, and we wanted to get a lot of bokeh and bring kind of that background in. So wider focal lengths, your backgrounds look farther away, longer focal lengths, they look closer up. So that's how we were able to accomplish getting really far away in the parking lot, and then with me zooming in on this to make it appear closer to our subject. For the other shots, I used the G Master 85 1.4, and I shot it at 1.4 just to get more bokeh in the background. Just a little bit different, you know, creative look we wanted to go for. So in our large softbox, my go-to light for 2 to 3 years now has been the Godox AD600. This sucker is Bowens mount. It is extremely powerful, and when you're doing a shoot like we were at nighttime, it requires very minimal light, so I was able to double diffuse the softbox, back it up a little bit farther away from the subject and make sure it's not in the frame, and still ample amount of light in order to shoot it. So for the background lights, as I mentioned, I used 2 speed lights. It was Godox TT685s inside a 7-inch reflector. I put the mag grips on so I could throw our 2 colored gels on it. One was a blue, back left of the subject. One was a magenta, back right of the subject. And I took our Magmod spheres, threw it on top for a little bit of extra diffusion, and it seemed to work out. Now for all my speed lights and my AD200, I make sure I throw them inside one of these Godox S-clamps. Flash fits right in here. You're able to clamp it down, tighten it up. And they are Bowens mount, so the reflectors, other modifiers and stuff you want to put in, they just snap right in and you're good to go. Piece of cake. So with it being nighttime and wanting to get the right exposure on the neon lights in the background, I was able to lower my ISO quite a bit. I kept my shutter speed low enough to where it stayed inside my camera sync speed. I believe I was shooting at like 1/200th of a second. Shooting 1.4, shooting 2.8, low flash power. We even did a moving shot, which you're gonna see. I hope you enjoy that one. It's one of my favorites from the whole session. The model drove around in our Ninja and our tractor. I actually did it in one shot. We timed it perfectly in between all 3 of our lights. with the motion. So you can see the lights in the back have a little bit of motion blur to her, and the main light in the front kind of freezes her. So there's a little bit of blur on her between that shutter opening and closing, a little bit of motion blur in the back. But that mixed with the light freezing her kind of gives a really cool effect to the shot. And it was her idea to do it. And I'm really glad we knocked that sucker out, because I think I'm gonna print it out and put it on my wall here behind me with the rest of my portfolio.
I'ma make you mine tonight, pulling your hair, baby. I feel you breathing on me, on you. You know that I'm a selfish lover. When it's mine, I want it. One track mind for it, for you. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it.
So I hope y'all enjoyed that behind the scenes footage we got during that motorcycle session. It was pretty awesome. It was one of the most fun shoots I've had recently. So I appreciate everybody who makes it to the end of my videos through all of them. It really gives me motivation to keep making more content. So I'm just gonna keep coming up with ideas and we'll see what content we have next. Stay tuned.